Welcome to another episode of the USATF Journey to Gold Zone podcast from lovely, hot, humid Tokyo. And I'm here with a very special guest, multiple collegiate champion, 6-time national champion, world silver medalist, and most recent Olympic champion in the 1500 meters. And he also got the Olympic record in that race as well. So we are so excited for Cole Hocker to be here to join us in Tokyo at the training facility that we're at. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. You nailed the stats. That was impressive. Yeah,
I have some guys at home that are helping out.
not bad.
Since we're over here in Tokyo and everyone's asleep at home, but you're going to be doing a workout here later today. So thank you for, jumping in and doing this before your workout, before we get ready. There's so many things I want to ask you because it has been a wild ride this past year for you. And I think one of my favorite things after you winning the Olympic gold is I got to bring your coach down to you, and that was fun watching. I think you guys were just in shock. You were listening so intently to the woman talking about giving you your medals, and then I bring your coaches in. And what was that like when you first saw your coach after winning?
Yeah, you put it about right. We were both in shock, I think. Like I saw him, and I saw my family and my friends on the track during that, but that's one thing. And then under the stadium, you kind of have a moment to actually say something, and we both just had no words. Like we just stare at each other for like 5 seconds, hugged, which is rare for I think neither of us is a hugger, so like it takes a big moment to have us hug it out, but that warranted it. And then he said a few things, but he's like, well, now you know how it feels to be the very best in the world at something. And like that was kind of one of the first things that sunk in that moment, but definitely in shock. My head was all over the place at that point.
That is amazing. And I will tell you that we kind of found a secret passageway to get him down there that someone had taught me. So that's how I was able to bring him down there.
Okay. Yeah. It was, it's all the little things you don't realize.
Little things that you find.
Especially at the Olympics when everything is so.
It was that one day they were like, wow, they really, oh, great. Nobody knows about this. Here we go.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah, that was fun. So after I got to bring your coach down, one of the funniest stories I heard was they interviewed you after the race, and they said, hey, when you went on the inside to win, and you're like, I didn't go on the inside. And they're like, yeah, you did. And they showed you the video, and you don't remember going on the inside.
Yeah. I mean, talk about my head being all over the place. That was probably the height of it. The mixed media zone after the Olympic final, after winning the Olympic final. Every question was just like, while they were talking, felt like, I was in a movie. They're asking me how it felt to win the Olympics. And, it was just like, where am I right now? And yeah, they asked me, they're like, so like, how'd you know that the inside was going to open up? Like you went on the rail, like to the finish. And I was like, I don't know if I corrected them, but I was like, I don't think I went on the inside. Like, I think you're confused. And then like, obviously, I don't think I watched the race there, but they're like, no, you went on the inside. And I was just like, so obviously, it was just so in the moment in the race. In my mind, I went around the outside. I don't know. I worked my way down that home stretch, but the video and reality could not have been further from that. It's like, yeah, insane. And like, I mean, that finish stretch was pretty incredible for so many reasons. Like obviously for me, but just the fact that coming with 100 meters to go, I kind of had a stutter step, and then I was faced with the decision to then go on the outside or hold the rail. And for whatever reason, I held the rail.
Yep.
It opened up, and it was just like the gates of heaven just opening in front of me. I was like, I cannot believe they let me do this in the Olympics. And the rest is history. But yeah, that was a moment I'll never forget, obviously.
And I think people don't understand how runners or people in that moment, I don't think they understand the heightened, just the decision making that goes into it. You don't always remember it. You don't always know what you're doing. And luckily, a lot of it, it's muscle memory, or it's just so you've raced so many times that you just react without even having to think. And maybe that's why athletes don't always know exactly how they executed it, because you just You just go and you just do and you use instincts. And those are the best racers. And honestly, if you ever become a coach, that's something you can't teach. I mean, those are skills that, trust me, when you're looking for athletes, that's not teachable. And so you have a skill that you just have.
I appreciate that, but it definitely felt like instinct
It was.
in that
Yes.
moment, like no thought, like
Yeah.
just do that and execute, and yeah.
So how many times have you gone back to watch that? Or have you been in places and people have made you watch it? What?
I've definitely been in places where they made me watch it, but it's not a chore. I'll watch.
Okay, you'll watch it again
I'll
and
watch it
again?
any day of the
Okay.
week. Yeah.
Does it bring the feelings back up? Do you still feel that moment? Or have you kind of like gotten past the feel of it?
No, I still feel it. Like,
Okay.
yeah, it's pretty much every time I watch the race, I notice or think something new, and obviously, it being over a year now, that's just crazy. Like, it's one of those things that you never expect that time period will pass.
Mhm.
Of course, it does, and yeah, every chance I get to watch it back, I'll pretty much watch it.
Oh.
Yeah, I think like not in like a egotistical kind of way, but just every time I watch it, it reminds me of what I'm capable of, and uh, honestly, I watch it a lot of times before races, just because like that's me performing at my 100%,
Mhm.
and I want to remind myself that I can do that, and like why should I have any doubts in myself when I've pretty much done the impossible?
I love that. That is awesome. And you have the perfect hype video for yourself.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's awesome. So now that you're here a year later, you kind of started your year early, and this is a later race than usual. I mean, now we're pushing everything back to, September. Did you guys change any way that you looked at this year by knowing it was going to be in September? Did you change how you started? Did you change anything throughout this year for training?
A little bit. Not massively. I think this year the peak is pretty much uh 1 month to like 6 weeks after last year's peak. Last year we went to peak that very first week of August, and now we're middle of September to late September. And so that's really all it was. It was delayed, and I think this year there's definitely more eyes on me, and I think that's great. That's everything I've wanted. That's what I've worked for. But with that comes obviously expectation. But comparing this year to last year, I know I'm exactly where I need to be. There just happens to be more people watching, more people with input that obviously, you know, that doesn't matter. It's what, me and my team and my coach plan for. And we're in, yeah, the same spot as last year. I think a step above that as well. But yeah, we definitely angled the season to right now, to peak right now, and, here in a week, 2 weeks. And then a little bit differently just by making both those teams in the 15 and the 5K. But more or less the same thing. USA's went really great. And then that's like the real first test. You got to be sharp there. And luckily I was sharp enough to make both teams. But yeah, now I've got a bit of a gauntlet of racing. But I get the 1500 all done with, squared away before. So yeah, I'm stoked with where I'm at.
We love it. We love that you're doubling. And what was the decision to double? Was it, all right, I've already won, I'm the Olympic champion, let's just add something else? I mean, what was the decision to do that?
Yeah, it's funny. It seems like this year, I guess from an outsider perspective, was just the year I decided to do it. And from my perspective, that's not really the case. Every year this has kind of been, I've been training as a 15 5K runner for my entire professional career so far. And so far making these major teams, every year is completely different. You try to emulate years past, but every year there's different challenges, different hiccups. And this is just the first year that everything is lined up and I've been able to do it. Like 2021, I was fresh out of college. I couldn't double. That was, just making one team was a feat of its own. And that next year I dealt with injury. And then same with that next year, I dealt with injury, but made the team in Budapest. But I just had a super tight window to get in 1500 shape, and I didn't have the ability to build that 5K base. Last year, just like I was saying, you got to be there on the day at USA's, and I didn't make both teams. And so then going into this year, I knew I really knew what it took. And then coming off of the Olympic year, going as well as it could have, obviously I want to build to my quiver and be even stronger in the 5K than I've been in the past, and that's exactly what we were able to do this year. And then we made the team, and now we're here. But this has been a goal since turning pro to make both these teams. But yeah, this is the first year it's come to fruition.
Wow, I love it. So it's been a plan. All right. I like when plans actually pay off and it all happens. And so now that you've made a few teams and you've, been at the top, what would you tell Cole from 2021 that was here? And what would you tell some of these new athletes? So this is their first team. What advice would you give them to being here, being ready?
Yeah. I was doing a small little workout the other day on this practice track here in Tokyo, and it was the same practice track as 2021 when I made that team. And I just had some time to reflect to myself and couldn't believe like that moment in 2021. Another moment that my head was kind of all over the place. I came here, I executed extremely well. I'm still very proud of that. Right out of college, and getting sixth place in that final was no small feat, and that was everything I had that day. And if I would tell that version of myself in 2021 the position I am in today, completely blow my mind back then, which is just it's pretty eye-opening. And anytime I kind of get overwhelmed by the pressure of the current state that I'm in, like I was mentioning, all the eyes on me, all the expectation, I just try to remind myself of how far I've come since just 2021. And I would never, I dreamed of it. I guess I can't say I would have never imagined being in this position, but a lot of things have to go right. You have to make a lot of right decisions. You have to navigate a lot of obstacles. And the fact that I'm here as a defending Olympic champion is completely blown me away. But to answer your question about kind of some advice I would give to first timers, whether you're a college kid like I was, which there's a few of them, and or professional, and making a global team is huge no matter what. And again, every year it feels completely different. It's another massive challenge to get on this team every single year. Nothing's promised. So what I would say, and what I constantly remind myself of at every championship that I've been at, including in 2021, is that like you want to run it like it could be your last one. And obviously you don't want to, not in a defeatist mindset kind of way, but a kind of a scarcity mindset is where you want to take full advantage, because everyone knows anything can happen in this sport. Like you can be tip-top shape next year and the USA team has gotten way better and they've passed you or whatever. You can't, obviously you can be injured. That's probably the number one, scary thing that every athlete does their best to stay away from. But if you got to remind yourself, like, you are not promised this meet ever again in your career. And I try to do that every single year and every single season. And so far I've done a good job of running these races like my career depends on it. Like it could be my last really big race. So that would be my advice. I think that that could add pressure, but when you're here, there's going to be a ton of pressure regardless. And I don't think that fact alone is going to make it too debilitating. You're going to be very overwhelmed regardless. So just might as well pile it off.
I love that. That is the best. You want some water? But yeah, that is honestly probably one of the best. That is one of the best ways I've heard it described, and I love that.
Thank you.
Because there are so many things. I mean, for example, when I made the team, I wanted to stay for the closing ceremonies, and my coach was like, "No, you need to go home and get ready for the next one. You can go to the closing ceremonies the next time you make it." Did I make the? No. So see, you never know. So I always tell people, take advantage of it, enjoy it. But I love how you put it. And I am interested to hear you talk about, you said there's more eyes on me. So some people would like to know, are you being noticed more because you're the Olympic champion? And then secondly, tell us about these more eyes. You've mentioned it a few times. So now, are you being noticed? And then what are you dealing with all these other people?
Yeah, I've been noticed. I've been getting noticed more and more. I think that just comes with it. I mean, the night of the Olympics, my follower count, I don't know, it almost doubled that very night. And so I knew, like, I mean, there's point blank numbers right there.
Yeah.
More people are watching. And I think obviously that's a good thing. But, with that comes pressure. That's the biggest thing, is pressure. And something that I'm constantly practicing. I feel like I've mastered the craft of running. Obviously, I'm constantly trying to continue getting better, but I know what it takes and I know what to do.
Yep.
I'm also trying to master the craft of mental fortitude, and with that comes managing pressure. And every year in my career it's gone up, honestly, and I think that's just a really good thing. That's a byproduct of excelling and progressing naturally. So yeah, there's way more eyes on me, and I think it makes every time I go out on the track have a little more weight behind it, and it's a weight that's not really coming from me, and I have to. It's a constant battle, and I'm not gonna lie and say I don't feel any of that pressure. I think that'd be disingenuous. I think a lot of people can try to convince other people that they don't feel pressure, but if you acknowledge, like I acknowledge the pressure's there. Like, what am I gonna do with it? I say it all the time, but iron sharpens iron, and I think that goes with the great competition in the U.S. and the world, but it also kind of fits with the pressure on you. It just makes you sharper and sharper and sharper, as long as you don't let it crush you. And I have no plans of letting it do that. So it is a constant battle, but something I fully embrace, because I just dreamed of being in this situation. This is like something I would feel weird even asking for, like in the past, of saying like, I want to be in this position of being the defending Olympic champion. It feels almost unnatural before it happens, and then I look up one day and it's happened. So I better roll with it.
So you said that your followers went up online and more eyes are on you. Have you changed how you are with social media? Do you stay off of it prior to things? Like, what are you doing with social media now that you are being watched more? And are you paying attention to it, or do you ignore it?
Yeah, I think I just like to use it for fun. Like, I run my Instagram myself. I like to keep it like authentic, and I'll do my best to just not look at negative comments. But the only way it's a negative comment is if you've looked at it. So it's kind of a catch-22 there. But I do my best not to dwell on anything. And like, obviously, I know like anyone saying negative things has no idea the world I live in, and it's all social media. But whatever it is, it's human nature to kind of let those negative ones fester a little bit. And another thing like I'm trying to work on, but it's really not like I've overwhelmingly way more supporters, positivity around me, and I just do my best to focus on that. But I'd say you should check out my TikTok if you want to see.
I've been told your TikTok's pretty cool.
I try. It's like a little bit more like artsy, or like I don't really care as much on there. And I think it's worth checking out. So
what kind of arts? What are you into? What is TikTok cool like?
Yeah.
In case you want more followers.
Yeah. Of course. I post I want to post more of my music, but I make like some music on my like on my laptop.
No way. Okay.
Yeah. And then just like cool videos I take and stuff, and chop them up and edit them, and yeah, I don't know. It's just like a good. I feel like I've always been like a little artistic. Like I briefly taught myself piano and acoustic guitar, and then like I can kind of use all of that. I grew up playing the drums, so kind of just try to use all that and make beats, make songs, and then yeah, I actually need to post them more, because like I'm just like I make them because I like them, but people also tell me they want to hear them. So maybe if I get some more followers, then I'll be more inclined to post.
There we go. More TikTok followers so we can hear more of Cole's music. I think that is a perfect goal.
Yeah.
I think you definitely might get more of that. So let's say Coach gives you a day off. All right. I know you got the TikTok stuff going on. I know we want you to make more music, but if you have a day off, what are you doing? What's your go-to day off?
Some bit of a madman.
All right.
Sauna. I'll ice bath. I'll make a crazy coffee. No, yeah, it's not exciting stuff.
All right.
But yeah, I do. I'm on my coffee grinds like every day of the week, but yeah, there's a ton of things you can do with it.
So this whole coffee thing, I was sitting at breakfast, and you and I think one of the trainers were talking about the coffee, and you went into this entire thing of coffee that I don't even know exists. So tell us about these coffee machines that you have. And I got to see a video of the coffee machine that you have and all the things it does. So A, what got you into coffee? And B, like, then tell us all your things.
Yeah, yeah. I think what got me into it is just like it's kind of like it's really the ritual. Like
Okay.
I started drinking coffee before I liked it, if that makes sense. Like
All right.
I was more intrigued with you go somewhere, you get a black coffee,
Yeah.
check some emails, do whatever, sit in a coffee shop, talk to friends.
Okay.
That came before I actually liked coffee. Then it is truly an acquired taste, kind of forced myself to like it. Then you go down a massive rabbit hole of get the espresso machine, get the X Bloom machine, get the Chemex, get all the works. And then like, I think it's just because like as a distance runner, there's only so many things you can really do with your free time.
True.
Like any physical activity is essentially not, yeah, I'm not going to do that. Like I'm not going to go on a long hike. I'm not going to do anything physical on my off time.
Okay.
Cause that's just what I do for my whole job. So there's few things. There's making music, there's making coffee. And then it's pretty much like a mixologist, but for coffee. Like
Mixologist, but coffee.
I guess
All
I'm
right.
paying for that, barista.
All right. You are a coffee barista in your own home.
Yes.
Now, how many coffee machines are they all on the counter? I got paint a picture for us,
Yeah,
please.
that's actually funny. I at my house bought my house like a year ago, and then like got some renovations, and pretty much the biggest renovation was to take out this closet and put in a coffee bar.
Of course, I was just gonna say, if you do not have a coffee bar, I would be very disappointed if all these things are kept in a cupboard. All right.
Yeah, so
All right. So what about this coffee bar?
nice bar, everything's on display. I've got machines like Chemex is just like a glass thing, so that's not like really a machine. And then
Okay.
like same with like a mocha pot is like a metal like thing that I feel like has been used for like hundreds of years. But
Okay.
lots of tools. I have like 2 coffee machines. I have a
Okay.
espresso machine, and then the X Bloom is what it's called.
Is that the one that moves it and all the
Yeah,
things?
That's
Okay.
like the fully automated pour over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you were talking about how the beans have to bloom. Like, you need to explain this to people because I learned something at breakfast.
Yeah, hopefully people care about this. But
If not, she'll cut it.
yeah, cut the no. X Bloom, if you haven't heard, I don't know why I'm doing an ad, but it's you want your coffee for a pour over coffee, you want the grounds to bloom.
Okay.
And so this is just like a fully automated version of that. So to bloom, you get them wet and then you let them sit for like a minute before you pour the next pour over.
Okay.
This just does it for you. It's like all timed out. It does it. It'll get them wet, and then it'll wait to pour more water for like 2 minutes, and then it'll continue to do it. It'll swirl it around. It'll pour it straight in the middle. And yeah, I don't know if you can really taste the difference, but I like to convince myself that I can. So
Nice. So you're probably buying your beans at certain places and all the things. Like, you probably have very specific quality of things that you like, is my guess. All right.
it's just like a rabbit hole like anything else. It's
It's like a rabbit hole. I love it.
really like a hobby.
I love that.
Yeah.
Music and coffee are your hobbies. I like it. All right. So then when you retire, you have a bucket list of things that you're going to go do because you can't do it now. But what is the top bucket list things when you retire and you can just go do? Be the real wild, as you said, wild man of
Yeah. I think
no bucket list. I mean, most people can just do this and wow. Okay.
it will be nice just to like not have. Every time my girlfriend brings something up, she's like, I know you're probably going to say no because like we're not
Yeah.
going to go again, not going to go on a hike. I'm just like, oh, it would just be nice to not have anything impending that like I have to like remain calm for.
Don't become a coach then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably a good call. But
You travel will. Yeah.
yeah, also like
Yeah.
I guess like travel to so many cool places to run.
Yeah.
But like I try my best to, if I go to Budapest, I try whatever they have there. They have like a port wine or something.
Okay.
I forget exactly what it's called. And that's like what you do there. Like you come to Tokyo, you have sushi. I mean, I can have that as a runner, but
Yeah.
there's all these things that like I never really get to do.
Yeah.
And I'm like a big fan of like when in Rome, you got to do as the Romans do.
Yep.
Like yeah, when I'm here, like I'm drinking green tea. I'm eating sushi. I'm whatever it is that the Japanese do, but I'm trying to do it all. Like I don't know, but when I'm running and I'm dialed in, it's like you don't want to switch up your diet. You don't want to drink any alcohol. So I'm looking forward to that.
Okay.
Being retired,
That
just
sounds
like
good.
living life
Okay.
to like the fullest, I guess.
And so what's after running then?
No
idea.
idea.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that you are fully in it now. That is perfect.
That's kind of how I look at it.
Good.
Yeah, like when I was, for better or for worse, when I was in college, I wanted to run pro, and I had no plans of getting a real job. And everyone kind of, not everyone,
Yeah.
but few, I'd tell that to whatever their own crowd, and they roll their eyes or whatever. But I don't think I would have gotten here if I had a plan B or whatever. And
I agree.
I feel like that's the same. I just want to like give this my fullest as long as I can. Like I don't even really think of it as I want to be running for 5 more years or 8 more years or 10 more years. I just want to be running as long as I'm able to train at my fullest and, compete at a really high level.
Yeah.
And wherever that takes me, that's going to be where it takes me, and then I'll figure it out.
I love that. You have to have a good support system to be able to do that, I'm assuming. Yes.
Yeah, that is 100%. Yeah, like, yeah, that all can't be possible if I didn't have my family and girlfriend and college teammates all just like believing in me, because that was definitely the case. And that's definitely true.
When I was, same thing, when I wanted to, continue running and everyone looks at you like you're crazy, especially back in the day, they thought I'd say I'm a runner and they asked me if I'm a courier and I'm like, no, and they don't know how you do that. And it's one of those funny things. And honestly, I'm still in running. I mean, I was coaching and now I'm admin with USATF. And so I feel like I've not really stopped. I honestly, I don't run anymore, but I'm still in the sport and it is still fun and it's still, I'm still enjoying it. So I hope that you can continue to run and enjoy it and stay in the sport as long as you want and figure out what you want to do later. And trust me, being an Olympian and an Olympic champion will open so many doors. It's not even funny for you. Like you are just going to be able to walk in and you get in the door and then you prove yourself, which I think you're going to be fine.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm banking on that. So.
Oh, good. I hope you're banking on that. So is there anybody that you want to give a shout out, or do you want to tell everybody what your TikTok is so we can get you more followers, so we can hear more music?
Yeah.
All right,
TikTok is just Cole Hocker XD. Should be pretty easy to find. I don't think there was a fake account at one point, but can't do the numbers that I was doing, so it fell off. But yeah, everywhere else is easy. I pretty much only post on TikTok and Instagram, and then me and my training group have a YouTube channel.
Okay.
Like Team Sova. I don't know. I feel like if you follow me on socials already, you've probably seen it, but definitely check that out as well.
Team Sova. Should I know what the name?
No, you shouldn't know, but
okay.
Southern Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out like what the Sova was. I got it.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Some people say it's not Southern Virginia, it's Blacksburg, Virginia, but
all right.
It's close enough.
Okay. All right. Anybody else you want to give a shout out to while we're at it?
Shout outs. No.
Okay. All right.
I mean, the obvious ones.
your support system.
My girlfriend, my support system.
Yes.
Yeah, obviously. Those just go without saying, so.
Okay.
But
all right. And you have a plan between now and when the races begin, and you have your plan on how to, recover in between. I'm sure you guys have very set things from now on, right?
Yeah, we've got 1 week from today exactly. I'm very happy with the time I've given myself to acclimate in Tokyo. I got here not a full week ago, but that's something I've learned from being a professional runner, is I need to calculate for the time change.
Yep.
I'm very dependent on how I play that game. So yeah, we got a week to go. Do a good track session today.
Nice.
And pretty much just get to that line.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time out to do this, and it's been fun getting to know you, and we're excited see what this double brings.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks.